The sky turned black at noon. Giant ships covered the sun over every major city on Earth. Seoul, New York, Tokyo, London, all of them disappeared under the shadows of alien vessels. Each ship was bigger than any building humans had ever made. The metal was dark and strange, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Commander Tae-hyun watched from his office window. He was 45 years old and had led Earth's military planning for 2 decades. His face showed no emotion as more ships descended through the clouds. Behind him, Dr. Hannah entered the room. She was 38 and one of the smartest scientists on the planet. "They are calling themselves the Valkyrie Dominion," Hannah said. She held a tablet showing the alien broadcast. "They want us to surrender immediately. They say resistance is pointless." Tae-hyun kept watching the sky. "How many ships total?" "Over 3,000 just in our area. Reports from other countries say the same. Maybe 15,000 ships worldwide?" Hannah looked at her data. "Their weapons are far more advanced than ours. Our technology is like children's toys compared to theirs." A young officer ran into the room. Captain Jun was 29 and eager to fight. "Sir, we engaged them over the ocean. We lost 40 jets in 2 minutes. Our missiles did nothing to their shields. We need to send everything we have. Every tank, every ship, every soldier." Tae-hyun turned around slowly. His eyes were calm. "No, we will not send everything." Jun stared at him. "But sir, if we don't fight now, we will fight," Tae-hyun interrupted. "But not the way you think. We fight for 3 days. Then we surrender." "Surrender?" Jun's voice rose in anger. "We cannot just give up." "Yes, we can," Tae-hyun said quietly. "And we will." Another woman entered the office. Ambassador Yuno was 52 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. She had spent her whole life in diplomacy. "The world leaders are meeting now. Some want to fight until the end. Others want to surrender immediately. What is your recommendation?" 3 days, Tae-hyun said firmly. "We fight for 3 days. Make it look real. Then we surrender completely. No hidden armies, no secret plans, nothing. We give them everything they ask for." Yuna studied his face carefully. She had known Tae-hyun for 20 years. She could tell when he was hiding something. "What are you not saying?" "Trust me," Tae-hyun replied. 3 days of fighting. Then total surrender. Make sure all world leaders follow this plan exactly. The next 3 days were carefully planned. Military forces around the world engaged the alien ships. Fighter jets flew missions they knew would fail. Tanks fired at ships hovering in the sky. Soldiers assembled in open areas where alien sensors could easily find them. Every battle was designed to look desperate but ultimately pointless. Captain Jun led a tank unit outside Mumbai. He watched his shells explode harmlessly against an alien destroyer floating above. The shields absorbed every hit like they were nothing. Part of him felt ashamed, knowing they were not really trying their hardest. But he followed orders. After firing half their ammunition, his unit retreated. The aliens barely fought back. They used energy weapons that disabled vehicles without killing people. It was clear they wanted to conquer Earth intact. They needed the planet and its people alive. On the 3rd day, Tae-hyun appeared on every screen in the world. He looked exhausted and beaten. "People of Earth, we have fought with everything we have. But we cannot win. The Valkyrie Dominion is too powerful. To continue fighting means death for millions. As commander of Earth's Defense Council, I am ordering all forces to stand down. We surrender." The aliens broadcast their own message moments later. Their leader was tall with gray skin and 4 arms. His voice was translated into every human language. "Your surrender is accepted. You are now part of the Valkyrie Dominion. Obey our rules and you will live. Resist and you will suffer. This planet is ours now." Around the world, soldiers put down their weapons. Alien troops landed in every city. They took over government buildings. They began cataloging military equipment and bases. The occupation happened quickly and efficiently. The Valkyrin had conquered many worlds before. Earth was just another easy victory. In the command center, now filled with alien guards, Taehyun was questioned. A Valkyrin officer with cold eyes looked at him. Your military is pathetic. Why did you think you could resist us? Taehyun kept his head down, acting defeated. We had to try. It is in our nature. The alien made a harsh sound that might have been laughter. Your nature is weakness. We will teach you better. After the questioning, Taehyun left the building. He walked to an elevator that went down past the regular basement levels. The elevator needed special scans that only a few people could pass. The doors opened to a massive underground facility. Dr. Hannah was waiting for him. Behind her, computer screens showed data from thousands of locations around the world. They are scanning everything, she said. Every military base, every weapon, every soldier. Just like we expected. Good, Taehyun said. Let them find what we want them to find. Hannah smiled slightly. All the hidden sites are responding. North America is ready. Europe is at 90%. Asia is fully operational. Africa and South America are on schedule. What about the sleepers? Starting the wake-up process now. They will be ready in 6 months. Taehyun walked to a large window. It looked down into an enormous cave deep underground. Rows of machines filled the darkness, silent and waiting. There were ships the Valkyrin had never seen. Weapons built over decades in total secrecy. An entire army that existed in no database the aliens could access. For 30 years, Earth had been preparing. When deep space probes first detected the Valkyrin scouts, world leaders made a choice. They could panic and build defenses the aliens would see. Or they could pretend to be weak while building real strength in places no one would look. They chose deception. Resources were secretly moved underground. Entire armies trained in hidden bases under mountains and deserts. Technology was developed specifically to counter alien weapons. And most importantly, they created a false version of Earth's military. Old bases with old equipment that would make them look primitive and weak. When the Valkyrin finally arrived, Earth showed them exactly what they expected to see. A young civilization with basic technology. A military that tried hard but had no real chance. A planet that surrendered quickly because it had no choice. The aliens believed it completely. Why would they question such an easy victory? Let them think they won, Taehyun said quietly, still looking at the hidden army below. Let them feel safe. Let them believe Earth is weak and broken, he turned to Hannah. Because when we finally show them the truth, they will learn what it really means to fight humanity. They will learn that we do not fight fair. We fight smart. And we always plan ahead. Deep underground in facilities across the planet, machinery began to activate. Soldiers who had been frozen in sleep started their wake-up cycles. Weapon systems that had waited decades powered on for the first time. Ships built in absolute secrecy ran their first diagnostic tests. Far above, the Valkyrin celebrated their conquest. They added Earth to their list of dominated worlds. Just another victory in their long history of expansion. They never imagined that the real war had not even started. The humans had not surrendered. They had simply stopped pretending to fight with the weapons the aliens could see. Now they were preparing to fight with weapons the aliens did not know existed, Commander. Taehyun looked at the countdown on his screen. 6 months until activation. 6 months of playing the role of defeated leader. 6 months of letting the aliens grow comfortable and careless. Then Earth would show them what humans really were. Not prey to be conquered, but predators who chose when to strike. And the Valkyrin would learn a lesson they would never forget. The occupation had begun. But so had the real war. The Valkyrin just did not know it yet. 6 months passed slowly under alien rule. The Valkyrin Dominion controlled every major city on Earth. Most of their fleet had left to conquer other worlds. Only a small force remained, confident that humans were fully defeated. 15 battleships orbited the planet. Thousands of ground troops patrolled the streets. It seemed like more than enough to control 8 billion conquered people, Governor. Thulvan ruled the Asian region from Seoul. He was a senior Velcrin official with gray skin marked by golden patterns showing his rank. His forearms moved constantly, always busy with multiple tasks. He felt proud of how efficiently he controlled the human population. He walked through a processing center where hundreds of humans waited in lines. They came every day to receive work assignments. Their heads stayed down. Their voices stayed quiet. Thulvan smiled at the sight. They learned their place quickly, he told his assistant. Much faster than other species we conquered. The humans understand they are beaten. His assistant nodded. There are some small resistance groups. They damage equipment sometimes. They slow down supply deliveries. But nothing serious. Thulvan waved his hand dismissively. Increase patrols in those areas. Punish anyone we catch. The resistance will die out soon enough. What Thulvan did not see was Minho watching him from a cafe across the street. Minho was 34 and had been a Special Forces soldier before the surrender. Now he pretended to be an ordinary citizen. He sipped tea and looked at his phone like everyone else, but his eyes tracked every movement of the alien governor. He counted guards. He noted security patterns. He memorized everything, a voice whispered in his earpiece. Target moving to East Entrance. It was Sora, 27 years old and working as a translator inside the alien headquarters. The Velcrin thought she was loyal and helpful. They trusted her. They did not know she reported everything to the resistance. Confirmed, Minho whispered back. Guard count? 6, same as yesterday. They are getting comfortable with their routine. Good, that makes them predictable. Minho finished his tea and left. He walked to a bicycle repair shop 3 blocks away. The old owner, Byung, nodded silently and pointed to the back room. Minho went through and down hidden stairs to a basement. 20 resistance fighters waited there. They gathered around a table covered with maps and stolen documents. Minho spread out the newest plans. We hit the supply convoy Thursday morning at 600. They are carrying power cells for their communications. We strike fast, take what we need, and disappear. A woman named Jiwoo studied the route. She had been an army engineer before the surrender. Their scanners will detect us quickly. Minho pulled out small devices from a bag. These are signal jammers. Dr. Hannah's team made them. They work for exactly 4 minutes before burning out. We have to be fast. Everyone understood the risk. The Velcrin executed anyone caught in resistance activities. But they took the jammers anyway. Small acts of sabotage were all they could do, or so the aliens thought. While the resistance planned their small operation, Dr. Hannah worked in a Velcrin research facility. The aliens believed she was helping them understand human technology. They thought she was being cooperative to save herself. They were wrong. She was studying them. She sat in a laboratory with 3 Velcrin scientists. They were analyzing human DNA and discussing how to modify humans for better work efficiency. Hannah listened carefully and asked questions that seemed innocent but gathered important information. Your shield technology is impressive, she said, looking at a display they had left open. The frequency rotation pattern is very complex. One scientist nodded proudly. Yes, our shields cycle through 847 different frequencies every second. Nothing can penetrate them. Hannah made notes. So if someone could match that exact pattern— Impossible, the scientist interrupted. It would require computational power far beyond human capability. Your computers are too primitive. Of course, Hannah agreed humbly. But the small device hidden behind her ear was recording everything. Tonight she would upload it to the secret network. And deep underground, human scientists would analyze exactly how to break those shields. Strange energy readings appeared on Velcrin monitoring stations. The signals came from deep beneath the surface in multiple locations. A technician brought the data to his supervisor. Sir, these readings are unusual. Very regular patterns. The supervisor looked briefly at the report and dismissed it. Geological activity. Probably geothermal vents or mineral deposits. Earth has unstable geology. But sir, the patterns are too regular. Maybe we should investigate. We scanned this planet completely. There are no hidden installations. These are natural readings. Do not waste time on meaningless data. The report was filed away and forgotten. Those energy signatures were actually hidden military bases powering up their systems, but the Velkarin were too comfortable to notice. They believed their victory was complete. Governor Thulvin held a video conference with his military superiors. A holographic commander appeared in his office. Status report on Earth. Fully secure, Thulvin reported confidently. Production is increasing every month. The population is cooperative. We have identified all their military resources. They had nothing that could threaten us. Resistance activity? Minor, small groups causing small problems. We have executed several leaders. The resistance is breaking. Excellent. We are moving the main fleet to the Corlin sector. You will have only 15 battleships to maintain control of Earth. That should be more than sufficient for a conquered world. Thulvin accepted the order. 15 ships to control an entire planet seemed almost insulting. But he understood. Earth was defeated. It needed very little force to maintain control. That evening, Commander Tehayan appeared on public broadcast. The Velkarin required him to give speeches encouraging cooperation. He stood before cameras, looking thin and tired. His voice was slow and heavy. People of Earth, we must accept reality. Fighting only brings pain. Cooperate with our new rulers. Follow their laws. This is how we survive. Velkarin guards stood behind him, satisfied with his message. The broadcast reached every screen on the planet. Millions watched their former commander tell them to give up hope, but people who knew Tehayan well noticed something strange. The way he stressed certain words. The pauses between sentences. It was code hidden in plain sight. Our new reality meant the plan continues. Cooperate with our new rulers meant keep feeding them false information. This is how we survive meant hold on, the time is coming. Sora watched the broadcast from her small apartment. She understood the message. She sent a simple text to Minho that said, "Spring is approaching." He read it and immediately deleted it. Spring was coming? The long winter of occupation would end soon, deep beneath the Arctic ice. In a facility the Velkarin never found, thousands of soldiers were waking from frozen sleep. They had been placed in cryogenic suspension before the aliens arrived, hidden to avoid detection. Now their pods were opening one by one. General De Jong walked among them. He was 58 years old and had been asleep for 6 months. Now he was needed again. He watched medical teams check each soldier as they woke. His second-in-command approached with a report. How many are active? De Jong asked. 12,000 in this facility. The other sites report similar numbers. We will have 200,000 soldiers ready within a month. And the equipment? All functional. Ships are ready. Weapons are charging. We are on schedule. De Jong nodded. 6 months of occupation. 6 months of pretending to be weak. 6 months of gathering intelligence. Soon it would all pay off. In her laboratory, Dr. Hana uploaded the day's recordings. Her computer showed a hidden countdown. Days until activation. 168. 6 months had passed since surrender. 6 months of learning Velkarin weaknesses. 6 months of preparation. She allowed herself a small smile. The Velkarin believed they had won easily. They thought humans were just another primitive species. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Across the planet, in 1,000 hidden locations, humanity was preparing. Not the humanity the Velkarin had conquered. The real humanity. The one that had planned this for 30 years. The one that was about to teach the galaxy a lesson. Governor Thulvin finished his evening meal and reviewed production reports. Everything looked perfect. Earth was profitable. The humans were obedient. His career was advancing. He felt satisfied with his success. He never saw the tiny device Sora had planted in his office. The device that recorded every conversation. The device that sent information to the resistance, to Dr. Hana, and ultimately to Commander Taehyun deep underground, the Velkrans slept peacefully in their bases, confident in their superiority. Their ships patrolled in routine patterns. Their guards followed predictable schedules. They grew comfortable and lazy. They did not notice the signs. The energy readings dismissed as geology. The resistance activity they thought was meaningless. The strange behavior of humans who seemed too cooperative. The way their most trusted human workers asked innocent questions that gathered sensitive information. The Velkrans saw what they expected to see. A defeated species. A conquered world. An easy victory, but deep underground, in facilities built over decades, the truth was preparing to emerge. Ships powered up. Weapons activated. Soldiers trained. And humanity, which had pretended to surrender. 1 full year passed since Earth surrendered. The Velkran Dominion considered their victory complete and permanent. Governor Thulvan sent reports to his superiors praising his successful administration. Production was high. Resistance was minimal. The human population had learned their place. Earth was just another conquered colony in the vast Velkran Empire. Most of the Velkran fleet had moved to other sectors. Only 15 battleships remained in orbit. The aliens grew comfortable with their easy conquest. They stopped searching for threats because they believed no threats existed. Velkran intelligence. Analysts reviewed their data with satisfaction. "We have cataloged every military installation on Earth," the senior analyst reported. "We have identified all weapons, vehicles, and trained personnel. There are no hidden threats remaining. This planet is secure." But deep in the Himalayan mountains, Lieutenant Yoon stood in a place the analysts never found. The underground hangar was carved from solid rock, hidden beneath kilometers of stone. It stretched for miles in every direction. And it was filled with ships. Yoon was 26 years old and had trained as a pilot since she was 18. She touched the controls of her fighter, feeling the engines hum with power. "How many ships are ready?" she asked the engineer beside her. Hyun-Wu was 41 and had spent 20 years building this secret fleet. He checked his tablet. "This hangar has 400 fighters ready to fly. Another 200 will be ready in 2 days. Every hidden base around the world reports similar numbers. We have over 15,000 combat spacecraft ready for launch." Yoon stared at him. "The Velkran think we have less than 200 old jets." "That is exactly what we wanted them to think," Hyun-Woo replied. "Those old jets were all they could see. Everything else has been hidden underground for decades. The preparation began 30 years ago. In 2217, human space probes detected strange signals from deep space. Scientists investigated and found evidence of an alien civilization expanding aggressively through nearby star systems. Earth's leaders faced a difficult choice. They could panic and build visible defenses the aliens would see. Or they could prepare in absolute secrecy. They chose secrecy. For 30 years, massive resources were secretly moved underground. Entire armies trained in hidden bases. Advanced technology was developed specifically to fight the aliens. And most importantly, Earth created a false military. Old bases with outdated equipment that would make them look weak and primitive. When the Velkran finally arrived, Earth showed them exactly what they expected. A young civilization with basic technology. A military that tried but failed quickly. A planet that surrendered because it had no real chance. The aliens believed every bit of it. Commander Taehyun sat in his deep underground command center. He had been part of this plan from the very beginning. Dr. Hana entered carrying new intelligence data. "The Velkran are moving their fleet," she reported. "They are sending 10 of their 15 battleships to another sector. Only 5 will remain to guard Earth." Taehyun smiled slightly. "Perfect. They are weakening their position exactly as we predicted. When does General Daeyoung want to begin?" "He requests permission to start operations in 72 hours. Approved." Taehyun looked at the displays showing hidden bases across the planet. Hundreds of blue dots the aliens never discovered. "Send the activation code. Operation Garden begins in 3 days." Captain June had spent a year believing Earth had truly surrendered. Now he rode in a transport descending deep beneath the Pacific Ocean when the doors opened. His jaw dropped in shock. An underwater facility stretched before him, built into an ocean trench 6 kilometers down. The base was enormous. Ships and submarines filled the docking areas. Soldiers in advanced armor trained in special chambers. Weapons he had never seen were being loaded onto attack craft. General De Jong approached him. The general looked older, but his eyes were sharp and focused. "Captain June, welcome to Site Poseidon, one of 47 major military bases the Velkarin know nothing about." June struggled to speak. "Sir, I thought we surrendered." "I thought we lost." "We showed them a surrender," De Jong corrected. "We showed them old bases and old weapons. We showed them soldiers who seemed defeated. But this is Earth's real military. This is what we kept hidden for 30 years. But why? Why let them occupy us? Why let our people suffer?" "Because they needed to believe we were no threat," De Jong explained. "If we had fought with everything from the start, they would have brought their entire fleet. Thousands of ships. We could not win that fight. So we lost a small battle on purpose. We endured occupation. We learned their weaknesses. And we waited for them to grow comfortable and careless." June thought about the past year. The shame of serving under alien rule. The anger at his commanders for giving up so easily. Now he understood it was all planned. And now? Now we show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. Similar conversations happened at hidden bases worldwide. Soldiers who thought Earth had given up were finally learning the truth. The surrender was strategy. The occupation was temporary. Everything had been carefully planned for decades. Ambassador Yuna stood in a secret government facility beneath New Zealand. She addressed representatives from every nation on Earth. "We maintained the deception for 1 year. Our people suffered. Many died. But their sacrifice taught us everything about the Velkarin. Their military tactics, their technology weaknesses, their command structure. We know everything about them now. They know nothing about us." In Governor Thulvan's office, Sora continued working as his translator. She had spent a year pretending to be loyal while secretly feeding information to the Resistance. Now she uploaded the final crucial data. Complete schedules of every Velkarin patrol, guard shifts at every base, supply convoy routes. Everything the Resistance needed. INHO received the data and smiled. His Resistance had spent a year conducting small operations that annoyed the Velkarin but never truly threatened them. That was about to change dramatically. He gathered his fighters. New orders from command. "In 72 hours we stop playing small. We go loud." Beneath Antarctica, thousands of soldiers completed their final preparations. They wore powered armor that enhanced their strength and speed. They carried weapons designed specifically to penetrate Velkarin shields. They had trained for years for this exact moment. Lieutenant Yoon sat in her fighter running system checks. The ship's computer linked directly to her brain through a neural interface. The weapons showed green status across the board. Missiles that could break through shield frequencies. Energy cannons that could punch through Velkarin armor. Electronic warfare systems that could jam their sensors. Hyunwoo supervised the final preparations in the massive hangar. Every ship had to work perfectly. There would be no second chances? He also checked the orbital weapon platforms. These stations had been disguised as space debris for decades, drifting in Earth's orbit. The Velkarin scanned them once and dismissed them as old satellite wreckage. They were actually weapons platforms, now charging their main cannons. Dr. Hana reviewed all the intelligence gathered during the year of occupation. Every weakness in Velkarin technology was now documented. Their shields rotated through predictable patterns. Their armor was vulnerable to specific energy types. Their communications could be jammed with the right signals. Their sensors could be fooled. Most importantly, they were arrogant and complacent. That arrogance will destroy them, she said quietly. Commander Taehyun sent the Final coded message to every hidden facility on Earth. The garden is ready to bloom. Across the planet, commanders received the signal and prepared their forces. They had waited 30 years for this moment. 1 year of occupation was a small price for a complete surprise. Governor Thulvin received another report about seismic readings from underground locations. More geological activity, his assistant explained. The same readings we have been seeing all year? Thulvin barely looked at the data. Those readings were underground bases activating their main power systems. Weapons charging. Ships preparing to launch. Armies getting ready to strike. But the Velkrin, comfortable in their easy victory, saw only numbers and assumed it was natural phenomena. In orbit, the 5 remaining Velkrin battleships maintained routine patrols. Their crews were bored. Some had requested transfers to sectors with actual combat. Earth was considered a safe, easy assignment. Nothing ever happened here. General De-Jung watched the countdown timer in his command center. 72 hours until operations start. He thought about the soldiers who endured occupation, the civilians who suffered, the people who died while Earth pretended to be defeated. Soon, he said quietly, soon they will know their sacrifice mattered. Commander Taehyun prepared his final message to the Velkrin. He wrote it carefully, wanting every word to be perfect. You conquered the Earth we showed you. You defeated the army we revealed. You occupied the people we told you were broken. Now meet the real Earth, now face humanity's true strength. Now learn what it means to underestimate us. He saved the message and looked at displays showing hidden bases worldwide. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers ready. Thousands of ships prepared. Weapons built over decades specifically to defeat this enemy. All of it hidden, waiting, ready to strike. 3 days until the Velkrin learned what humans really were. The message appeared on every Velkrin screen at exactly 0600 hours. Governor Thulvin was drinking his morning beverage when Commander Taehyun's face filled his display. But this was not the broken, defeated human from previous broadcasts. This man's eyes burned with purpose and determination. Governor Thulvin, Taehyun began, his voice calm and cold. You conquered the Earth we showed you. You defeated the army we revealed. You occupied the people we told you were broken. Now meet the real Earth? Thulvin stood abruptly, all 4 arms reaching for controls. What is this? Trace that signal now. Before his staff could respond, the screen changed. Images appeared showing massive doors opening across Earth, hidden facilities emerging from mountains, deserts and ice fields, and from these secret bases came ships. Thousands upon thousands of combat spacecraft that should not exist. This is impossible, Thulvin whispered. We scanned the entire planet. There were no hidden bases. You scanned what we let you scan, Taehyun's voice continued. You found what we wanted you to find. We have been building this fleet for 30 years, preparing for the day you would arrive. You thought you conquered us in 3 days. You were wrong. The real war starts now. Alarms screamed across every Velkrin facility on Earth. The 5 battleships in orbit scrambled to battle stations. Admiral Velcros commanded the fleet from his flagship. He stared at his sensors in total disbelief as they registered over 15,000 human spacecraft rising from the surface. This cannot be real, he said, his voice shaking. Where did they hide all these ships? Underground, sir, his officer reported. Deep underground. The energy readings we dismissed as geology were actually their bases powering up. They have been there the whole time. Velcros opened the fleet communication channel. All ships engage immediately. Destroy these primitive craft. Show them the power of the Dominion. But when the Velkrin fired, their confidence shattered. Lieutenant Yoon's fighter took a direct hit from an energy beam and her shields absorbed it completely. Shields at 98%, her computer reported. Enemy weapons ineffective. Yoon smiled inside her helmet. Dr. Hannah's calculations were perfect. Their weapons cannot hurt us. She locked onto a Velkrin destroyer and launched missiles. The projectiles spiraled through space. Their guidance systems rotating through shield frequencies at incredible speed, the Velcarin destroyer's shields, which had seemed invincible, offered no protection. One missile penetrated and struck the hull directly, causing a massive explosion. The alien crew had grown used to their shields stopping everything. They never imagined anything could break through. On the ground, Minho's resistance shed all pretense of weakness. Hidden weapon caches opened across Seoul. Advanced rifles and armor were distributed to fighters. These were not the primitive firearms the Velcarin had catalogued. These were energy weapons designed to cut through alien armor like paper. Governor Thulvin mobilized his ground forces desperately. Velcarin soldiers marched through the streets in their powered armor, expecting to crush human resistance like they had done before. They were shocked when humans in equally advanced armor emerged to meet them. The battle for Seoul was brief and brutal. Velcarin troops faced warriors equipped with technology as good as their own. But the humans had something the aliens lacked. They had spent a year studying Velcarin tactics. They knew every weakness. They exploited every gap. A Velcarin squad leader called frantically for support. "We are taking heavy casualties. Human soldiers are wearing powered armor. Our weapons are barely effective." "Impossible," came the response from command. "Humans do not have that technology." "Then someone should inform the humans of that fact," the squad leader shouted as energy blasts tore through his position in the Pacific underwater base. Captain June led troops boarding submarines built specifically for this day. General De Jong coordinated the global assault from his command center. All units execute Phase 2. Target enemy communications first. Blind them, then strike their command centers. Sora, who had pretended to be a loyal translator for a year, activated her final surprise. The virus she had been secretly installing in Velcarin computer systems for months came alive. Enemy communications failed across the planet. Sensors went dark. Coordination collapsed. "What is happening?" Thulvin screamed at his technicians. "Restore communications immediately." "We cannot, sir," a technician reported. "There is malicious code throughout our entire network. The human translator Sora, she has been uploading viruses for months. We trusted her and she betrayed us." Thulvin felt real fear for the first time since arriving at Earth. The humans had not just hidden military forces. They had infiltrated his command structure. They had spent a year pretending to be defeated while actually preparing every detail of this attack. In orbit, Admiral Velcros watched his fleet struggle against the swarm of human fighters. His 5 battleships were powerful, but they faced 15,000 smaller craft that worked together with perfect coordination. And then his sensors detected something new. The debris field that had orbited Earth for years was moving. "Sir, the debris is not debris," an officer shouted. "They are weapon platforms. They were disguised. They are powering up now." Han-Wu watched from his control station as the orbital platforms revealed their true nature. For 3 years, he had helped build these stations in secret, launching them disguised as broken satellites. Now they activated their main weapons. Massive cannons charged and fired, beams precisely calculated to break through Velcarin shields. One Velcarin battleship took 3 direct hits. Its shields collapsed under the coordinated assault. The weapon beams tore into the hull, causing explosions throughout the ship. The mighty vessel, which had seemed invincible during the occupation, broke apart in a cascade of fire. Admiral Velcros watched hundreds of his crew die in seconds. "Retreat to high orbit," he ordered desperately. "Call for reinforcements from the main fleet." But when he tried to send the distress call, he discovered human cyber warfare had jammed all long-range communications. The Velcarin garrison was cut off, alone against an enemy that had prepared for this moment for decades. Dr. Hana monitored the battle from underground command. Every weapon system was performing exactly as designed. The shields she helped develop were stopping Velcarin energy beams. The missiles she calculated were penetrating alien defenses. "Shield penetration rate is 94%, she reported. "Our casualties are minimal. Theirs are catastrophic." Commander Tae Hyon watched the global tactical display. Blue markers showing human forces were overwhelming red markers indicating Velcaran positions. In Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, everywhere the aliens had occupied Earth, they were being driven back by armies that appeared from nowhere. General De Jong received constant updates. Enemy stronghold in Berlin is surrounded. Cairo reports enemy forces surrendering. Melbourne has secured the Velcaran supply depot. He looked at Tae-Hyen. So we are not just winning, we are dominating them. Good, Tae-Hyen replied. Let the galaxy see what happens when they underestimate humanity. Governor Thulvan headquarters was surrounded by human troops in powered armor. He watched from his window as they approached with professional precision. These were not frightened civilians. These were elite soldiers who had been hiding their true nature for an entire year. Captain June led the team that breached the building. Velcaran guards tried to stop them but were overwhelmed in seconds. June's armor absorbed their energy blasts while his weapons cut through theirs. Within minutes, human forces reached the governor's office. Thulvan stood with all four arms raised in surrender. How did you do this? We searched your entire planet. You searched what we let you search? June answered. You found old bases and old weapons? You never imagined we might be smart enough to hide our real strength. You assumed we were primitive and weak. That assumption just cost you everything. In orbit, Admiral Velcros faced the hardest decision of his military career. He had 5 battleships when this started. Now 2 were destroyed, 1 was crippled and drifting, and the remaining 2 were barely surviving. Against endless waves of human fighters and the orbital weapon platforms. Ambassador Yuna's face appeared on his screen. She spoke calmly, like discussing a business deal instead of warfare. Admiral, you can continue fighting and lose everything. Or you can retreat now and carry a message to the Velcaran Dominion. Tell them Earth is not prey. Tell them we allowed you to occupy our planet so we could learn your weaknesses. Tell them that if they return, they will face not the weak species you conquered, but the species that destroyed you. Velcros looked at his displays. His fleet was broken. His ground troops were surrendering or dying. The occupation he thought was permanent had lasted exactly 1 year and ended in complete disaster. The humans had deceived them perfectly. All Velcaran forces, cease fire, he ordered. Retreat to rally point beyond the moon. We are evacuating Earth immediately. Around the planet, Velcaran troops received the retreat order with relief and shame. They abandoned their bases and fled to orbit. The powerful occupation force was running away from humans. They thought were weak and primitive. Commander Tae-Hyen broadcast to every human on Earth. People of Earth, the occupation is over. The Velcaran are retreating. For 1 year you suffered under their rule. 3 weeks passed since the Velcaran retreat. Earth was recovering, but the marks of occupation remained visible everywhere. Buildings damaged during the counterstrike were being rebuilt. Families held memorials for those who died during the year under alien rule. But there was also celebration in the streets. Humanity had faced a galactic empire and won through intelligence and patience. Commander Tae-Hyen stood in what used to be Governor Thulvan's office. The alien symbols were gone, replaced by human flags. He looked out the window at Seoul, watching people walk freely through streets that had been patrolled by enemy soldiers just weeks ago. Dr. Hannah entered with several data tablets. The analysis is finished, she reported. We captured significant Velcaran technology when they fled. Shield generators, weapons faster than light engines. Our scientists are studying everything. This will advance human technology by possibly 100 years. That is valuable, Tae-Hyen agreed. But not the most important thing we gained. No, Hana nodded. The most important thing is knowledge. We learned how galactic civilizations think, how they operate, how they assume primitive species are weak. That knowledge is worth more than any technology. Ambassador Yuna worked on the most delicate task. The Velcaran had requested negotiations. Their fleet waited at the edge of the solar system, too afraid to approach Earth but unable to leave without some kind of agreement. She prepared for the meeting that would determine Earth's place in galactic politics. Admiral Velcros appeared as a hologram in the negotiation chamber. He looked different from when he confidently commanded 5 battleships in orbit. His posture showed defeat and caution. Other Velcran officials stood behind him, their faces carefully neutral. Ambassador Yuna, Velcros began carefully. The Velcran Dominion wishes to discuss terms of peace. You may speak, Yuna replied calmly. Inside she felt satisfaction. The empire that demanded Earth's surrender now asked permission to negotiate. We made an error in judgment regarding your species, Velcros admitted. We assumed your quick surrender showed weakness. We did not realize it was strategy. The Dominion wishes to avoid further conflict with humanity. Then listen to our terms carefully, Yuna said. She displayed a document created by Earth's leadership. First, the Velcran Dominion will withdraw all claims to Earth and our solar system. You will recognize complete human independence. Second, you will pay compensation for damages during your occupation. Third, you will share certain technologies with us as a sign of respect between equals. Fourth, you will broadcast throughout the galaxy that Earth is protected and any attack on us will be met with the same response you received. Velcro studied the terms. They were harsh but not impossible. More importantly, they were the demands of a victor. The Velcran had no power to negotiate better conditions. These terms are acceptable, he said finally. But the Dominion requests one thing. Tell us how you did it. How did you hide so much from our scans? Yuna smiled slightly. We will share that information freely, because we want every civilization in the galaxy to understand what humans are capable of. We do not fight with brute strength alone. We fight with planning, patience, and intelligence. We let you think you won so we could study you completely. We endured occupation so we could strike at the perfect moment. We appeared weak so you would reveal all your weaknesses. The negotiations continued for hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. Earth would emerge as an independent power, respected by the galactic community. The Velcra would leave and never return as conquerors. And the story would spread across the stars that humanity was not prey, but predator. General Dae Jung held a ceremony honoring those who fought in the counterstrike. The underground hangar where Lieutenant Yoon launched her fighter was now open to the sky, no longer needing to hide. Thousands of soldiers stood in formation wearing medals for their service. For 1 year you pretended to be defeated, Dae Jung told them. You watched aliens control our cities. You served them while secretly gathering information. You endured shame and humiliation so humanity could win strategically. Some say we should have fought from the beginning. Those people do not understand war. Sometimes the hardest battle is choosing not to fight. Sometimes the greatest courage is appearing cowardly. You showed that courage. You trusted the plan even when you did not know what it was. You are the reason Earth is free. Captain Jun stood among the honored soldiers. He remembered his anger when Tae Hyun ordered the surrender. He wanted to fight immediately with everything they had. Now he understood that would have meant total defeat. The main Velcran fleet would have arrived and destroyed Earth completely. Instead, humanity won by being smarter, not stronger. Lieutenant Yoon received a medal for destroying 3 Velcran destroyers and damaging a battleship. She knew her success came from decades of preparation by countless people. Scientists who designed the ships, engineers who built the hidden bases, intelligence agents who gathered crucial data. Everyone played a role in the victory. Minho and his resistance fighters were officially recognized for their work during occupation. Sora received special honor for her intelligence work inside enemy headquarters. She risked death every single day for a year, uploading data and planting viruses in their systems. I just pretended to be helpful, Sora said when people called her a hero. I smiled and translated and made them trust me. Every day I wanted to tell them the truth. Every night I cried thinking we might fail. But I kept going because I knew it mattered. I knew we would win if we stayed patient. Han Wu and his engineering team received recognition for maintaining the hidden military for 30 years. They built ships and weapons that could never be tested openly. Everything had to work perfectly the first time it was used. And it did. Human equipment performed at 97% effectiveness during the counterstrike. Better than Valkyran technology that was supposed to be superior. Dr. Hana presented her findings to scientists worldwide. We learned that Valkyran shields had a predictable weakness. They rotated through frequencies in a set pattern. Once we understood the pattern, we could design weapons to match it. We also learned their sensors were designed to scan surfaces, not deep underground. That is why they never found our bases. They assumed primitive species would not build sophisticated hidden facilities. The information was compiled into databases to help humanity face future encounters with alien civilizations. Every species had weaknesses. Every technology had flaws. The key was patience in discovering them. Commander Tae-hyun gave his final address as Earth's defense commander. He spoke to cameras broadcasting to every human on the planet. 30 years ago, we detected the Valkyran approaching. We knew we could not beat them in direct combat. So we made a choice that seemed like cowardice. We decided to surrender before really fighting. But that surrender was not weakness. It was strategy. We built weapons in secret. We trained armies in hidden places. We prepared for a war we knew was coming. When the Valkyran arrived, we showed them weakness. We let them occupy Earth. We let them think they won. For 1 year, our people suffered. But that suffering had purpose. We learned everything about our enemy. And when we were ready, we showed them what humans truly are. He paused, letting his words reach everyone listening. The galaxy now knows Earth is not an easy target. We are not primitive people to be conquered. We are a civilization that plans for generations ahead. We are people who endure hardship to achieve victory. We are humans, and we do not fight fair. We fight smart. We fight to win. The message spread beyond Earth. The Valkyran had already transmitted reports to other powers in the galaxy. News of their defeat traveled across star systems. Species that never heard of humanity suddenly learned humans were dangerous. A young civilization that defeated an empire through deception, some civilizations, saw Earth as a threat to be watched carefully. Others saw opportunity for alliance with a clever species. But everyone saw humanity differently now. Earth was no longer insignificant. Earth was a player in galactic politics that could not be ignored or dismissed. Ambassador Yuna established Earth's first embassy in neutral space where multiple civilizations met for trade and diplomacy. She walked through corridors filled with dozens of alien species. Many stared at her, the human whose people had humiliated the mighty Valkyran. Dominion.1 ambassador from a species called the Tauren approached her. "Your people are remarkable," the alien said through a translator. "The Valkyran occupied our world once too. We fought bravely but lost. You fought cleverly and won. There is a difference." "We had time to prepare," Yuna replied humbly. "And we were willing to sacrifice pride for victory." "That is wisdom," the Tauren said. "Most species fight with emotion. They attack when angry. They defend when scared. Humans fight with calculation. You plan years ahead. That is both frightening and impressive." Earth launched deep space probes transmitting messages in multiple languages. The broadcasts reached distant stars announcing humanity's presence to the galaxy. The message was simple and clear. This is Earth, we are humanity. We do not seek war, but we do not fear it. We prefer peace, but we prepare for conflict. We will trade with those who respect us and fight those who threaten us. We are not prey. We are not weak. We are survivors who earned our place among the stars.